Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Live from iRacing's virtual Indianapolis Motor Speedway, welcome sim racing fans to the Cross Series League Racing NASCAR Next Gen portion of the calendar, the 3rd round of the division, live on Apex Racing TV. Happy that you're all with us here from beautiful virtual Indianapolis. I'm your host, Joshua Lee. Tyler Newitt joins me in the broadcast booth with Marco Barbonera down in the production trailer. And the talk is of the points. Tyler, Adam Thompson with a huge lead right now over Robert Schwenkler. Trevor Anderson missed the last 2 rounds at iRacing Super Speedway and the Talladega Super Speedway. He comes in to tonight with a lot of work to do, as having a huge gap now to Adam Thompson. Is going to have to try and make up in just 6 rounds.
Yeah, absolutely. It was looking neck and neck coming into this 3rd series in the Cross Series League Racing Championship, but all of a sudden it's Adam Thompson well and truly out ahead. And to be quite honest, I don't see anyone really unseating him unless he is not very good at the dirt road portion, because he has just been utterly dominant the last 2 series, and assuming he's able to finish this one out strong, he's going to be in good shape heading into the final series of the championship.
Thompson's worst portion of the calendar was the road course portion, only getting 2 19-point races and 2 13-point races out of that. He got a 3rd place, a win, and 2 second places in the dirt oval portion of the calendar with the 410 wing sprint cars, and then a win and a 2nd place at iRacing Super Speedway and Talladega, respectively. respectively. So Adam Thompson coming into tonight is looking strong at the top. And as we go through qualifying, 2 laps these drivers will have already, about 2.5 minutes left to get those laps in. We take a look at the number 69 of Mike Sorum, Grand Forks, North Dakota driver for Nodak Racing, looking to put a good first lap time in. Let's see if anybody can improve on lap times, or if Mike Sorum can put a lap time up to contend with the drivers at the front of the field. Adam Thompson goes up into P2. Bobby Ross holds the lead, and Mike Sorum's time not going to count on that last lap. Let's see if he can put a better one here on the second lap. There's Trey Garst and Alex Anderson. Alex Anderson not with the best start to the season, but some consistent finishes through the dirt oval portion of the calendar. A third and a second place in the last 2 rounds, looking for a win here at Indianapolis. As we look at James Truitt for Acer Engines Racing, crosses the line. Is he going to stay P7? Unfortunately, it looks like he will go down to P8 as Alex Anderson moves his way up into P6.
It's really interesting looking at the times, Josh, because this is the first first race in this portion of the calendar where the drivers have had to lift, at least on a qualifying lap. And despite that, still pretty close at the top. Ross, Thompson, Schwenkler all within 1/10 of a second. The top 8 covered by about half a second. So clearly drivers not intimidated by a track with a little more throttle control necessary in the corners as we ride on board with Jimmy Howitt. He's currently sitting P9, but he's got 1 more lap to try and jump himself forward, and certainly he'll be looking to do so.
Reminder that tonight's race is sponsored by the Chrohns and Colitis Foundation. They are a nonprofit, volunteer-fueled organization dedicated to finding cures for Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis, and improving the quality of life of children and adults affected by these diseases. Visit them at CrohnsColitisFoundation.org. 20 seconds left in qualifying. Can Howitt move himself further up the field? Yes, he can. Up to P6 he goes with a 51.61. Great time for the number 37 machine. That is going to wrap up qualifying, and we get ready to take a look at the starting grid for tonight's race. Expecting a lot of action here from virtual Indianapolis in these NASCAR Next Gen cars. 15 drivers looking to take to the starting grid. Let's see who lines up where. Bobby Ross will start on the pole with a 51.202 quick time. Adam Thompson to his outside. Robert Schwenkler, Kevin Irwin sharing the second row. There's Trevor Anderson starting P5. Jimmy Howitt to his outside in P6. Alex Anderson, James Keir, James Truitt, and Trey Garst are going to round out your top 10. Mike Sorum, Jerry DiPiero on the first 6 rows. Tyler Coates, Chet Duranick, and Jaden Darling going to round out the top 15, and all 15 drivers taking the green flag tonight from Indianapolis. Pole sitter Bobby Ross hasn't had the best season under his belt. 1 top 3 finish back at Monza, but definitely nothing to laugh about. A consistent across the board when it comes to Bobby Ross here, Tyler.
Yeah, and looking to make something happen in a very different portion of the season than where he grabbed his first podium. So obviously you can't do much better than starting from the pole, but with the top 2 in the championship lined up in second and third, he's going to have a lot of pressure from the get-go. But you figure with those 2 fighting for a championship, and him, Bobby Ross, really just fighting for wins and for glory at this point, maybe he's pushing a little bit harder. A bit surprised to see so many cars not set qualifying times. Don't know if that's a strategic move, just wanting to start from the back, expecting maybe some trouble at the front, or maybe they just didn't get set up in time to put in a qualifying lap. But everyone's on the grid. We're not missing anybody, so everybody will take the green flag, even the 5 drivers who didn't set a qualifying time from Mike Sorum on back.
And I think it's good to talk about expectations, Tyler, because we really have a hard time getting any expectations for this race. Obviously, these next-gen cars aren't running in real life yet. That'll be in 2022. We're added to the iRacing service a little bit earlier on in the year, but just running them on these different tracks, unless you've run them before, you really don't know what to expect. And you were able to run this car a little bit as they were practicing, just as a ghost car, but that's completely different running solo than running with a pack. You can see the rear diffusers, you can see the rear spoilers. The draft is pretty heavy in these cars. A lot of unexpectedness coming into tonight's event.
Yeah, it's going to be incredibly interesting to see how this one shakes out, because you figure, you know, in a field like this with drivers with different skill levels, you know, we've still got some guys who maybe favor the road courses, and it's definitely a variety. You do kind of expect the field to spread out a little bit, but it's clear from the pace in qualifying that at least the top group is all right there. And I'm really interested to see how these cars race around here, because you're right, I did only get to try it by myself. I didn't really get a sense of what it was going to be like in the tow, but it's far from easy. So it'll be very curious to see if, say, Bobby Ross gets a jump, if Adam Thompson or Robert Schwenkler can hang with him there. It'll be definitely something to look out for here.
A lot to unpack throughout the 25 laps we are going to see around the virtual Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Known as the Brickyard, the Indy 500 known as the greatest spectacle in racing. We're going to take these oval iRacing cars to the Brickyard. It's time to go racing. Green flag is out. We are underway in Indiana. Great start for Bobby Ross. A little bit of a better start for Adam Thompson. He'll draw him even side by side for the race lead through turn one. Already 3 wide. Further back is James Keir. Gets caught on the outside line. Still side by side up front. Adam Thompson not giving up. Tyler Coates goes all the way down to the apron, trying to avoid an incident. Here's Adam Thompson. You're on board with him. Still side by side for the race lead as they race down the back.
It was a terrible start by Kevin Irwin. He really stacked up that outside line from 4th place where he started. Not only that, he was the one who kind of forced the group 3 wide as they're still side by side through turn number 3, but I'm pretty sure I saw Kevin Irwin sideways in turn 2, and actually now he's dropping down the order even more. So clearly that 7 car, quick in qualifying, but struggling here in the early portion of this race. But we've got to fight for the lead. It's Adam Thompson out ahead now. He's got the help from behind in the form of Robert Schwenkler, and they have cleared Bobby Ross into turn number 1 on lap 2.
On board with Thompson, Schwenkler, Anderson, and now Ross falling to P4. How quickly he fell back there in positions. Alex Anderson, I should say, trying to go to the outside. Look at Robert Schwenkler right up on the back bumper of your current race leader as they dive into turn number 3. Schwenkler's not going to go for a move, staying in that draft. Now, the dirty air is a little bit different in these next-gen cars. With that rear diffuser, they can get up to the back bumper of the car in front a little bit easier. Exactly what we're seeing from Schwenkler here, using that slipstream down the straightaways and then taking it right to the back bumper, not going for a move just yet. You can see him all the way in the red in the RPMs in 5th gear down into turn number 1. Keeping 2nd place as the field starts to settle out, going on to the 3rd lap of this race. 23 to go. Still a good bit of time remaining, and still a pit stop remaining as well.
Certainly, and it really seems like that draft is strong here. You don't want to be caught without a buddy, or you might be liable to lose a few spots. And we see Bobby Ross has dropped another as Alex Anderson has worked his way into the top 3 positions. So things getting hectic out there. You saw scrapes down the side of Kevin Irwin's car. He's really been in the wars early here. Ooh, that's a little slide up out of the corner from Robert Schwenkler, maybe just catching a bit of that dirty air from Adam Thompson and forcing him up out of the groove, and it's given Anderson a run. But instead, it's going to be Schwenkler who takes the dive on Thompson, and Anderson will do his best to follow him through here. But really interesting how these drivers can race side by side through the corners. Definitely not something you'd expect to see NASCAR at the Brickyard. Ooh, and there's a little contact. Great catch by Robert Schwenkler, but he's going to lose some positions here.
Look at how quickly we just had a 2-car battle for the lead, make it a 4-car, make it a 6-car battle for the lead as Truett catches up from behind. Here comes Alex Anderson from 7th to 1st. He's battling for the race lead with Adam Thompson through turn 4. Thompson trying to hold strong on the outside line. Alex Anderson in the 67 on the inside. Still side by side. Here comes Bobby Ross, the pole sitter, coming right to the back bumper of Adam Thompson. Nowhere to go. Gives him a little bit of a shove across the yard of bricks. Alex Anderson falls from the inside. Can Ross clear him for 2nd place? Can't do it just yet. Ross gets caught on the outside. Same thing with Schwenkler. And now they're still side by side for 2nd, giving Adam Thompson an opportunity to start to pull away at the front of this field. And just so quickly, Tyler, we went from 2 drivers fighting at the front to now the entire top 8 being within about 1 second of each other on this racetrack.
And Bobby Ross did exactly what Robert Schwenkler did to him to force Ross out of the lead and back into 3rd. He takes Alex Anderson and shuffles him all the way back to 5th with that bump draft we saw to Adam Thompson. It's very clear you don't want to get stuck. Ooh, Trey Garst heading for the pit lane. He's got some right side damage there, and he stopped it, so that was too substantial to continue. What's happened to him? Racing in kind of the 2nd pack here, just gets up out of the groove. Ooh. That's something we've seen in IndyCar. J.R. Hildebrand rings a bell. You carry up out of the groove and the track just falls away from you on exit. And unfortunately for Trey Garst, it caught him out there.
And that's so unfortunate for Garst. Had some great success through the dirt oval portion of the calendar. Earned 2 wins in that portion of the calendar. His first time running here in the asphalt oval portion. Unfortunately, it ends prematurely out of the race in P15. Battle for the lead. Bobby Ross on the inside. Remember, Bobby Ross started on the pole, and he's going to fall back as we take a look at that huge draft train pushing right on that outside line. That is Thompson now leading the way. Schwenkler and Anderson in tow. And now to the inside of Bobby Ross goes James Truett in the number 5 machine, side by side for the 4th spot as they race through turn 3. Let's see how quickly Schwenkler can catch back up to that lead with Adam Thompson. And we'll also see what exactly Alex Anderson can do. Here comes Trevor Anderson, the lone Toyota Camry in the field, trying to catch up. He's racing from P5, now P6 as Truett gets a good run on the bottom. Gonna come up, cover off that spot, move Anderson back into 6th. But the story of Trevor Anderson is an interesting one as we go back to the battle between Sorum and Coates. Trevor Anderson winning 3 out of the 4 races in the road course portion of the calendar. The only one he didn't win was a 2nd place. We go to dirt oval. Could not get out of his tracks there. Didn't even get a podium in any of the dirt oval races on the calendar. We fast forward to the speedway portion. Did not compete at iRacing Super Speedway or Talladega. So Trevor Anderson finally coming back, running P6, only down 1 spot from where he started, Tyler. But Trevor needs to get back up towards the front if he wants an opportunity to try and get more points on Adam Thompson, because look at the 224 leading the way right now.
He certainly does, Josh, and we've figured out a lot about the racing already just from watching these first 7 laps or so. And the one thing that stuck out to me is if you're going to make a move to the inside, you better be sure you can clear whoever you're trying to pass, because if you don't, you're going to get absolutely freight trained by the time you get out of the corner and onto one of the long straights here at Indianapolis. Once people get lined up, you don't seem to stand much of a chance of hanging on to your position. So if you're going to make a move, you better be very confident in it. And right now, the guy whose shoes I'd want to be in is Adam Thompson sitting out front. It seems like he's pretty comfortable out there. Nobody able to make any sort of maneuvers around him.
Top 4 start to pull away. We want to remind you that the Cross Series League Racing is proudly sponsored by Shears Salon. Located in Grand Forks, North Dakota, Shears Salon. Trust your peers and come to Shears. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Samantha at Shears Salon. Battle for the lead, gonna go to Robert Schwenkler. Contact for the lead. They make contact as they slam each other going into turn number 1. Thompson with damage, a little bit of damage to Schwenkler as well, but it looks like they both get away with it. Neither of them tapping the wall, neither of them ending up getting spun out in turn 1, but Schwenkler gets away with the lead. Thompson back into third as Bobby Ross catches up tail end of this line. Alex Anderson now from P2. Can he make a move on Schwenkler going down into turn number 1? Tyler, we're seeing a lot of what the Indy cars do here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and I find it fascinating because they're just getting huge slipstreams down these straightaways, and they're able to pull out, make a move going into turn 1 or turn 3, and nobody is really pulling away too much. You can reel somebody in incredibly quickly. Here's another battle for the lead, and here's another swap for the lead. There goes Alex Anderson. He can't hold it on the bottom. Schwenkler's now going to keep the lead, powering around the outside line.
And the interesting thing there was we saw Adam Thompson duck to the inside and try and help Anderson past Schwenkler. And that was the two championship leaders, first and second, coming to blows, Thompson and Schwenkler. And now this is the first time we're really seeing anyone try and help that inside line along, as Thompson is giving Anderson the help he needs to get to the race lead. And you can see how that's worked out. It's really interesting because it's almost like the super speedway racing we've seen in the first 2 rounds. Just these drivers are lifting through the corners as well, but that draft is all powerful here in these NASCAR Next Gen cars. And if you don't have a buddy, I think you're going to be in trouble as this race comes to a close. When it comes to the finish, you're going to want to have some help if you're trying to get to the front.
Top 4 breakaway. The gap between Ross and Kier, a little bit about 3 seconds right now is how it gets by Kier actually for that 5th spot. There you can see 4 cars at the front, 4 cars back from there in that second line. Already 14 laps to go. Drivers getting antsy at the front of the field. They've been swapping back and forth for the last handful of laps. Alex Anderson now leads. Robert Schwenkler in P2. Then Adam Thompson, Bobby Ross at the tail end of this line. Thompson almost getting contact with the wall. He gets loose coming off of turn number 4. And I believe going into the latter portions of this race, Tyler, a pit stop is on the way. A 50% fuel limit, which means the drivers basically have half of the normal fuel tank size they normally would have. So a pit stop is going to be needed. Question is, when are these scheduled pit stops going to start to happen? Looks like Chet Duranick came in. Not sure if that's a strategy or if he had damage to prompt the 42 into the pit lane.
Yeah, we've seen Duranick and Mike Sorum in the pit lane. Mike was a short stop, so I think that was just a scheduled stop for Mike, and maybe trying to gamble on a yellow. But of course, he's a lap down now, so it's not really going to work out in Mike's favor if he does get a yellow. Instead, I guess he'll just have to hope for an undercut of some sort. But we see quite a lot of swapping positions in this secondary group. This is from 5th back to 8th. Kier, Truitt, Anderson, and DiPiero, I believe. No, I've got that wrong. It's Howitt, Kier, Truitt, Anderson, DiPiero. We've had Bobby Ross in, so the first of our leaders into the pits is Bobby Ross. That's going to be something that's very interesting to watch because he's done it without any drafting help. Does that make a difference, and do we see Bobby Ross move forward or backward just based on when he came down the pit lane?
Pit stops still on the horizon as we continue to race here at the virtual the virtual Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The real life NASCAR Cup Series will be racing at the Talladega Super Speedway tomorrow. And here comes a couple more drivers into the pit lane. Howitt comes in. Kevin Irwin pitted on that last lap. Bobby Ross also came in. Tyler Coates, Jaden Darling are pitting. When are these main leaders going to start to come into the pit lane? Alex Anderson, Robert Schwenkler, Adam Thompson, James Truitt, James Kier, Trevor Anderson, and Jerry DiPiero still are yet to come into the pit lane. They stay out for too long. They will be caught behind the 8 ball, and we could see changes at the front of the field on those top 7 spots. Let's see what happens here as everybody will make one more pass of the pit lane entrance. Will Alex Anderson, race leader, come down into the pit lane this time? He does not. Schwenkler and Thompson also stay out. Let's go to the next line. James Keir, James Truitt, Trevor Anderson. It looks like Truitt comes in, Keir comes in. DiPiero and Anderson stay out, and Cone Destruction from the number 88 of Keir there. So Anderson, Schwenkler, Thompson, DiPiero, and Anderson stay on the racetrack with 10 laps to go.
And did I see Chet Duranic get the wall there, or was he just awfully high up out of the groove? It looked like when everyone was coming into the pit lane, there was some kind of white and blue car. I thought it was Chet Duranic who maybe got up out of the groove, but he is currently in 13th, having already made his pit stop behind some other drivers who have pit. In fact, most of the other drivers who have pit, only Kevin Irwin and Trey Garst behind him. Garst out of the race as we saw early on. So now we see Thompson peel. No, sorry, that wasn't Thompson. It was Schwenkler. Got the wrong car there. Schwenkler peeled off into pit lane. So Anderson and Thompson stretching it as far as it can go. Trevor Anderson stays out as well and assumes 3rd place. So going to be really interesting. As far as the drivers who have stopped, we really only saw Bobby Ross from the lead group. He's come out clear of Jimmy Howitt in 7th. As it stands right now, James Truitt, who came from that secondary pack, I believe, he currently sits 8th, about 2 seconds or so behind Jimmy Howitt. So that seems to have worked out a little bit in the favor of the drivers who stopped earlier. If we're watching Schwenkler here, I'm not mistaken, Josh, it looked a little sideways there for Alex Anderson coming through turn 3.
Did indeed, and now that leaves Anderson, Thompson into the pit lane. That'll leave Trevor Anderson, the last driver to pit. He's going to come across the pit lane entry. Is he going to elect to pit? No, he does not. Anderson stays on the racetrack. Trevor Anderson will assume the race lead. Now take a look at the timing tower. Will Bobby Ross, Robert Schwenkler, Jimmy Howitt, and more be able to catch up to Anderson and Thompson, who saved their pit stops for much later?
Oh, Anderson overshot his box.
13, that's going to be issues for Alex Anderson. Thompson gets into his box safe, but the laps that the past drivers pitted, Bobby Ross pitted lap 13. He is about to overtake the top 2. He will overtake Anderson and Thompson. They're now exiting the pit lane, and into turn number 1 goes Bobby Ross. He is going to assume the race lead once the pit stops cycle back. What a run for Bobby Ross. Now can he hold on? There goes Schwenkler on by. Thompson and Anderson will come back in net for 3rd and 4th place.
So big undercut for Bobby Ross. And what he's going to be hoping is that we stay clean and green to the end. It's been a wonderfully clean race so far as Trevor Anderson makes his way down pit road with substantial damage to that front end. I don't know if he had that or he got it on pit entry, but that's not going to help him any. But here we see the battle for what is now, well, 4th and 5th. It'll be 3rd and 4th once this group cycles past Trevor Anderson. But Bobby Ross has pulled an absolute magic trick with that one. And he assumes the race lead. He's just got to hold on for 7 more laps. Obviously, these guys will have slightly fresher tires. They'll be coming on pretty strong towards the end here. But I like what Bobby Ross did there. I think that's an excellent move, and I'm hopeful it pans out because that will be super exciting towards the end of this race.
Bobby Ross, the driver out of West Palm Beach, Florida, looking for his first XSLR win of the season. Can he get it? He has been so close. A 3rd place from Monza in the asphalt road portion of the calendar. He now has a 2.4 second lead over 2nd place Robert Schwenkler. You're tuning into the battle for P3. That's Adam Thompson and Alex Anderson. Now, fun fact that our producer Marco Barbonera told us, Alex Anderson running a paint scheme that is akin to a Japanese police car. And I've always thought it's a slick-looking paint scheme with the Japanese lettering under the windows and the very low number 67. And snazzy slow motion motorsports Ford Mustang he's got working out there, and clearly means something different, but the caution flag is out. The first and only caution of the night comes out with 6 to go, and Kier gets contact with Kevin Irwin. This changes everything.
This is absolutely massive and exactly what Bobby Ross didn't want to see. Now he's going to be hard-pressed to hold on to that race lead on a restart. And yeah, that was Kevin Irwin thinking he was clear and not being so.
So this is going to stack the field up for what I believe could be the only restart of the night. We do have overtime available to us. Yeah, there's just the 7 trying to come up. No real estate there, and contact all the way down the front straightaway with Kevin Irwin in the 7 and James Kier in the number 88. So now, Bobby Ross, his lead now goes down to just a couple feet as Robert Schwenkler catches up, and he is now going to be restarting to the outside of the front row with Ross on the inside. Presumably nobody going to elect to come into the pit lane here, Tyler, so they're going to restart pretty much exactly how they are here. And with everybody stacked up, Bobby Ross is going to have a hard time keeping this lead, because we saw in that first run how many times they swapped positions for the lead. It's very difficult to keep a lead in these cars at this track.
Yeah, well, we saw Thompson defend quite well early on and really only got shuffled back when he got the hip check from Robert Schwenkler. So I don't think this is over for Bobby Ross. He's obviously in a tough position because he's on the oldest tires of this group, and the cars behind him will all have a tow. But if he can keep it clean and hanging around the outside, I don't think a win is out of the question. It's just a matter of where the help goes. Do we see Adam Thompson in third favor Schwenkler or Ross if they get side by side? That'll be the real interesting part of this.
So Bobby Ross leads, Robert Schwenkler in P2, Adam Thompson, Alex Anderson, Jimmy Howitt, the top 5. Expected to go back to racing with just 2 to go. We will not be in a green-white checkered scenario. It'll be a natural green-white checkered. We'll just be going green onto 2 laps to go. Let's take this opportunity to remind you of a couple of the sponsors that help to put on the Cross Series League racing season here on Apex Racing TV, starting with Acer Engines. For over 30 years, Acer Engine Supply has been rebuilding and restoring engines of all shapes and sizes in the Colorado Springs area. Today, their attention to detail and commitment to customers remains unchanged. From restoring an old classic to getting your daily driver running again, Acer Engine Supply will get you back on the road. Visit them at acerengines.com. We also would like to thank Tamil Pies Tanning. They provide full spectrum UV treatments and custom organic sugar-based DHA airbrush solutions. Located in Corte Madera, California, they are the only salon in the U.S. to offer these services. Red light therapy and blue light therapy beds are also available with a doctor's recommendation. Check them out on Facebook at facebook.com/TamTanCo. Also like to thank Dangerous as their continued support. They are a top 3D visualization firm specializing in high-quality 3D product, CAD, package rendering services, and photorealistic product visuals. They specialize in automotive subjects and have extensive industrial and consumer product design experience. Let them help you visualize, promote, and communicate your designs. Visit them at dangerous.net. We also like to take this opportunity to thank Nexus Fabrication. They specialize in metal fabrication and manufacturing for commercial, residential, and custom projects, as well as signage, furniture, and metal repair work. Visit them at nexusfab.com. And the final sponsor we would like to thank here for Cross Series League Racing is the Laketown Creations. Family owned and operated, Laketown Creations build custom, heartfelt creations using wood and other materials for your home or office. We can turn your vision into reality. Check them out on Facebook at facebook.com/Laketown Creations. Tyler, this restart bound to be exciting. What are you expecting, and who are you betting to take this win?
I don't think you can put that on me, Josh. I don't know. I'm on the edge of my seat here. 2 laps. Ross from the lead, but from the inside, Thompson's been so good. Robert Schwenkler. That's my pick.
Fast car in that number 235. And talking about Bobby Ross going for his first pick, and Marco Barbadero making his pick of Adam Thompson. Talking about Bobby Ross going for his first win. Robert Schwenkler hasn't gotten a win at all this season. He got a 3rd place 1 week ago at Talladega, his best finish of the season. The top 2 both looking for their first wins of the season. Adam Thompson is going to go for his, what I believe is his 3rd win of the season. And 4th place, Alex Anderson, also going to go for his 2nd win in a row after he got the win at Talladega. Green flag back out, 2 laps to go from virtual Indianapolis. Great start for Bobby Ross. He gets away with the race lead. Down into turn number 1. Adam Thompson, Robert Schwenkler stay side by side. They race through 1 and 2. Bobby Ross trying to pull away, and Tyler, the side-by-side behind, is going to help him out.
Absolutely, that was the perfect start for Bobby Ross. Schwenkler tried to get a jump on him. Went a little bit before the lights, and Schwenkler's in the wall. Anderson's in the wall as well. That was Thompson clearing himself when he wasn't quite clear, and it's cost Robert Schwenkler. Definitely not the commentator's curse I placed on him, as he is dropping back. He's on the outside 3 wide, and there's the contact. I think that might do it, Josh.
Caution flag is out, and I believe we are going to rack them up one more time. Yes, we will. We go into a green-white checkered scenario from Indianapolis. After this contact, 3 wide down into turn number 3. We've seen that before in the Cup Series. Didn't work then, doesn't work now, as contact with Alex Anderson, Robert Schwenkler, and I believe that 3rd car involved in there was the 17 of Jerry DiPiero.
Yeah, it was, and that was just 3 cars into 1 in Indianapolis just tends not to work very well. And Schwenkler tried. It was really, he held his line fine. It was Anderson who couldn't keep it pinned in the middle. And unfortunate, a number of cars involved there. But that all started at the restart because it was Schwenkler who tried to guess when Bobby Ross was going to jump and mistimed it, saw that he was going to get a false start really and pick up a penalty, so he let off. But that's what led to him and Thompson side by side through 1 and 2. And then on the exit of 2, Thompson had the run, kind of cleared himself off of the nose of Schwenkler and put Schwenkler and Anderson into the wall. That's what put him 3 wide in that situation with, I believe, Jimmy Howitt. So now Howitt's sitting pretty in 3rd place. James Truitt has come from not really anywhere towards the front at this point to be 4th. Same with Tyler Coates and Jaden Darling. And everybody from 7th on back, it seems, or a decent number, are headed for pit lane, probably mostly for repairs.
Yeah, no fuel needed from this point on. I believe if we get to roughly 15 laps, or maybe a little bit more than that, on the stints, they might start to run into some issues. I believe maybe north of 20, they might start to run into some issues. Nobody really close to that point, so we'll keep watching that and see if we're going to have any fuel problems. Now, we are going to go into overtime. Green-white checkered finish. We have 2 attempts at a green-white checkered finish here in the Cross Series League racing season. What we'll do is we'll throw the green flag with 2 laps to go. Caution can be called on that green flag lap, but if we do have a caution called there, we'll rack them up again for another restart. But if we make it to the white flag, race is official. No cautions can be called on the white flag in iRacing. They will race back to the checkered flag. So we'll see if this will be the last restart or if we're going to end up running again in some more overtime. But on that start, Bobby Ross took off on the start there, Tyler, and they got side by side. They got 3 wide at one point behind him, and as long as they're side by side, the leader will pull away. It's a lot like at Daytona or Talladega, where if you're side by side, you're not going to go forward. You're going to stay stagnant or go back.
Yeah, for sure. I liked what Bobby Ross did on that last restart, but it's going to be tough to do it again. He'll have a different car lined up behind him, but you have to believe that Thompson will have seen what he did last time. And in that case, maybe if you're Bobby Ross, you do something different, you go a little earlier this time. I don't know. Restarts are always, you know, playing kind of chess with not just everybody else, but yourself at the same time, because it's so easy to outthink yourself and put yourself in a bad situation. And man, it's gonna be another crazy restart. I think we're coming to one to go. You mentioned the fuel situation, and thinking about the fact that Bobby Ross was one of the first cars onto pit lane. The longest we saw anybody go on that first stint was 18 laps. That was Trevor Anderson, and Bobby Ross pitted on lap 13. So you can figure with caution laps counting roughly, you know, half a lap for fuel. They're on lap 26. They've had, I think, 5 caution laps. So you figure Bobby Ross has this and maybe one more green-white checkers worth of fuel in the car. After that, he's going to be in trouble.
Another replay of what happened there from the 88 of James Keir. Ready to restart again. Now, more drivers are into the picture here. Same story at the front with Ross and Thompson. But now, James Truitt and Jimmy Howitt join the picture. Both of those drivers also looking for their first wins of the season. A lot of unknowns at the front of this field. 2 laps to settle it. We do have another opportunity at a green-white checkered. If they do end up wrecking here on this green flag lap, we'll have another opportunity to rack them up and restart one more time. Will we get a green flag finish, or will we be finishing under caution? Let's find out. The iRacing pace car down into the safety of the pit lane. Bobby Ross, the control car, the number 33 out of West Palm Beach, Florida. Look at it. Hit the loud pedal and go back to racing. We are back underway. It's a better start for Thompson. He's going to take it side by side into turn number 1. They're still side by side back from there. 2x2, front 2 spots. They make contact. Ross trying to power on the inside, trying to get by Adam Thompson and wrecking in the back. Chet Duranic, a huge wreck into the wall, and the caution flag comes out. Alex Anderson involved in this one as well.
Yeah, one-time race leader Alex Anderson in big trouble there. And now if you're Bobby Ross, you start to get a little worried looking at that fuel gauge. It's going to be awfully close. I know we'll get at least one more attempt at a green-white checker from race control. That's what I heard. We'll see if... Hopefully we don't need any more. It was a great start there from Bobby Ross. Adam Thompson hung around the outside for a bit until he got a nudge from James Truitt. There's a replay of what happened. It looks like another situation of 3 into 1 at Indy, not working out for Chet Duranic or Alex Anderson. Yeah, quite right. Duranic just caught the grass with his front left, and Anderson, the innocent bystander there. That's a shame for both of those guys, especially Anderson, who had such a tremendous race in the early stages.
What a hard hit there for Chet Duranic as well in the number 42. So continuing now, we will rack him up again. We have one more opportunity at a green-white checkered. And Tyler, this has got to be feeling bad for Bobby Ross at the front of this field. He was so close to possibly getting that win. And then one caution comes out, make it 2, then make it 3. He just wants this race to be over, see the checkered flag. He's got to go through an entire another restart before he even has an opportunity to take it home.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like if I'm Bobby Ross, I'm sitting pretty right now. You got in the jump on 2 restarts in a row, and they can't stop wrecking behind you, and this is their last chance. As long as you've got enough fuel, if I'm Bobby Ross, I'm thinking, all right, I just got to do what I've been doing, and I should be all right. You know, he's clearly got pace in that 33 car. you know, I'm sure Adam Thompson's going to put up a fight, but I think Bobby Ross has had the measure of the field in these late stages, and it'll be very interesting to see if he can do it one more time.
Trevor Anderson back down into the pit lane. Looks like he got all of his damage repaired that he had earlier on in this race. He'll back it up into his pit stall as he overshoots it. 2 to go before we ends up back restarting, and Adam Thompson remaining to the outside. Jimmy Howitt, James Truitt, Tyler Coates rounding out that top 5 as they currently sit. But Tyler, as we gear up for this restart, Thompson has an opportunity to take that win, and he's been so strong on that outside line, possibly the strongest car on that middle outside line tonight so far. If he restarts on that outside, like it presumably he will on this restart, Bobby Ross is going to need the restart like he had it in the first opportunity at the restart before we even went into overtime that he had.
It's going to be super tight here on the restart. They're already, well, the lights are still on the pace car. I thought they were going to get going here because they're already formed up 2 by 2. I think they're headed through turn 4 now, so they were still waiting on the field to catch up. I know we have some live race control here, but I don't think they're going to pull the pace car in. No, they're not. So it'll be one more lap under yellow with everybody formed up. James Keir will take the opportunity to head down pit lane for another time. Right on board with Keir in that last incident. Oh, you can see Chet get a little too tight on the inside there. It looks like James made it through all right, so maybe he had some lingering damage from the previous incident. Sure, he definitely had some on his way down to pit lane. We've lost Duranic from the race now, which makes 2 retirements. Wouldn't be surprised to see Alex Anderson follow in. They joined Trey Garst, who left early on in this one.
Ready to restart once again. So Tyler, in the first restart that we had, going to 2 laps to go before we went over the lap limit into overtime, you chose Robert Schwenkler. Now back in P7, are you changing that pick over to maybe who Marco Barbonero chose, Adam Thompson on the outside of that front row?
No, I don't want to jinx anybody. I've used up my commentator's curse. It's been a rough few races for me. The Norwegian Sector League driver was literally leading by seconds on the last lap at the Red Bull Ring and threw it off in turn 1 right after I'd said he would just needed to keep it clean for the win. And of course, Schwenkler hasn't seemed to have done too well with my blessing, so I'm going to keep my next pick to myself, and hopefully everybody has a clean race from here on out.
We'll see how that goes. And Bobby Ross on the front row to the inside. He is the control car. Adam Thompson to the outside. If we get a caution on this green flag lap, the field is frozen. The race is official. Final attempt at a green-white checker, the final restart of the night. We are back racing. Ross doesn't get the start he needed. Thompson with a great start on the outside line. What can Jimmy Howitt do? He's going to give a shove to Bobby Ross heading into 1. Thompson trying to hold strong on the outside. Still side by side as they race through the short chute into 2.
Everybody keeping it nice and tidy. Bobby tried something different there. He tried to go a little earlier, but Thompson was ready for it. And now Thompson has the run out of turn number 2. I don't know if he's going to be able to clear Bobby Ross. He cuts down in front. He is clear as they head into turn 3, but Ross having a look back here. Jimmy Howitt wants a piece of the action as well. Everybody keeping it clean so far on this final green-white checkered. Ooh, little contact there. That was Schwenkler getting into the back of Coates, I believe. But now everything's sorted, and Thompson has a gap. Will Bobby Ross be able to close this down? I'm not sure he will without help, and help is fighting for third behind him.
White flag is out. One final lap from the virtual Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Bobby Ross in second place, about 3/10 back. You're on board with the West Palm Beach Florida driver. Contact in the back. Schwenkler goes around, Truitt goes around, more involved. Trevor Anderson barely misses it. The battle for the lead continues. Bobby Ross trying to get a slipstream, trying to get a draft from Adam Thompson. He is chasing him down the back straightaway. Jimmy Howard trying to get help from P3 into turn number 3 for the final time. Trying to come across the yard of bricks and be a winner for the second time in the asphalt oval portion of the calendar. Can Bobby Ross make anything happen in the drag race down into the yard of bricks? He can't. And at the line, Adam Thompson wins at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
That's got to feel good for the Terre Haute, Indiana driver. It's not a long drive down south from Terre Haute to Indianapolis, but Thompson got to do this one at home and win at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in XSLR. That is, what more can you say about the drive from Thompson? He clearly had the pace all night. Tough break for Bobby Ross, who seemed to have the strategy right, seemed to be able to get the jump on the restarts, but ultimately wasn't his day.
It may be the virtual version, but a win at Indianapolis is sweet, especially when you live just about an hour and 15 minutes away from the Brickyard. Adam Thompson walks away with the win, his second win of the asphalt oval portion of the Cross Series League Racing calendar. Second, and first. His first 3 races in the asphalt oval portion of the calendar. He's trying to go into Daytona and be the only driver since Adam Thompson in the road course portion. He did it also in the dirt oval portion of the calendar as well, to podium in every single event. Adam Thompson is trying to do that 2 categories in a row. He grabs the win from Indianapolis. Bobby Ross in second, Jimmy Howard third, Jerry DiPiero fourth, with Trevor Anderson rounding out the top 5. Tyler Coates in 6th, Kevin Irwin 7th, James Truitt, Robert Schwenkler, and Jaden Darling round out your top 10. Mike Sorum, James Keir, Alex Anderson, Chet Duranick, and Trey Garst rounds out the 15 drivers who took the green flag tonight from virtual Indianapolis. What a race we saw here, Tyler, and what a finish as well. Thompson able to do what he did pretty much all night long and power around the outside to get by the race leader of Bobby Ross to take that checkered flag.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Ross just didn't have the help. We said that's what was needed to make a move happen on the inside, or anywhere for that matter. And the unfortunate truth for Bobby Ross was, with everyone scrapping over 3rd place, he was all alone there and not able to make it happen on Adam Thompson. But what a win for Adam Thompson, who's somehow both in the interview waiting area and out there doing donuts. So I think we'll grab him and talk to him in just a moment.
Yes, we will. As we enter the post-race show, Adam Thompson joins us here in the booth as he continues to burn it down here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Adam, I know this one has got to feel good. Living in Indiana, just about an hour away from the Speedway, and you get it done, of course, virtually, but it's got to feel all the same.
Well, yeah, man, this was this one was special. I just left Indiana this morning, actually. I was there to see my family over the weekend, so I flew right over the track. I'm like, I'm going to be racing there tonight. So, no, this is, yeah, I'm shaking. This one means a lot for sure.
And you came into tonight with a streak of podium finishes since back at Lanier in the dirt oval portion of the calendar to now. 7 straight podium finishes, 6 straight top 2 finishes. This domination that we're seeing from you, dirt oval and asphalt oval, I know it's got to feel good. You're pulling away at the top of the point standings. What does it mean to you to have this success and to have continued success and be consistently at the front week in and week out?
Well, hey, to quote Ricky Bobby, I'm the best there is, I'm the best there was, and I'm the best there ever will be. But no, for real, this is, I knew I was going to fall back in those GT3 portions. I didn't think I was going to fall back that much. But I was able to, the dirt ovals, I thought I was going to be okay. These oval cars, I just started running these next gen cars 3 weeks ago when we started practicing for the races. So for me to be as good as I am in these, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, I promise, but it was it's a surprise, but it's something that I'm going to take if I can keep, if I can keep this up after Daytona. The plan is to not even have to worry about the Pro 4 trucks, because anything's going to happen there, jumping over jumps in the dirt. So yeah, if I can grab this one, get another podium, just keep finishing above the second place, I should be okay. I hope that's the plan.
Heading to the World Center of Racing in 1 week's time, can you get 8 podiums in a row and maybe walk away with 2 wins in a row? Who nobody has gotten away with 2 wins in a row since Trevor Anderson.
Well, that's the plan. We're gonna see, but I hope so.
Well, we hope we're talking to you here in the booth again in 1 week's time. Adam, congratulations on your win from Indianapolis, and we look forward to seeing you at Daytona in 1 week's time.
Thanks, man. Give me 1 second here. I just want to give a quick shout out to my Uncle Drew and Grandma Donna. I'm looking at all their text messages now. They were freaking out when I won the race, and a huge shout out to Bobby. That was a blast. A great race for second place. So congrats to everybody. Thank you guys so much for everything y'all do.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. That's Adam Thompson, who finishes P1 here from virtual Indianapolis. And Tyler will be standing by with Bobby Ross. And we heard the emotion of when he finished on the podium, got 3rd place at Monza. Tyler, you're standing by with the 33 right now.
Bobby Ross, that's got to be a tough one for you, because you seemed like you had that one covered. You had the great pitch strategy, and you covered off 2 green-white checkers, and unfortunately you just weren't able to do it a 3rd time. How are you feeling after that one?
I'm feeling pretty ecstatic right now, because just compared to the last couple of races with these cars, I haven't had the best of finishes. But you know what? After leading the race, I had a good pit strategy. I thought I was gonna call it off, or I was gonna make it, as long as there wasn't a caution. But just 1 lap to go before the caution came out. That's when the caution came out. Then I thought, oh gosh, caution's gonna breed cautions. And so overall, though, I'm very happy with 2nd place. It's a very good points finish. So congratulations to Adam, and congratulations to Jimmy Howitt for his first podium of the year. First off, I want to thank Risa Racing for allowing me to race to represent them in this series. To Rudy, Jerry DiPiero, and everyone that's a part of that team. You guys are all amazing. And thank you to all my friends and family for watching.
Getting the shout outs out of the way early. You got to love it. Bobby, talk us through... obviously, you were really the only one of that lead group who made the call for the early pit stop. Were you thinking it was going to go green the rest of the way, or were you thinking you just needed to get that track position for the end of the race, regardless of whether it went green or not?
I was kind of anticipating the caution to come out, but it was just a roll of the dice, because from what I understood, it seemed like everyone was spread out, so I thought, oh my gosh, I'm going to do it. And then just before that caution came out, I actually thought, oh my gosh, it's going to go green flag all the way. I'm going to pull this off. I'm going to pull the pit stop of the century, the undercut. But like you said, though, it's all good. Congratulations to Adam. Fantastic racing overall.
Yeah, we saw, obviously, you had to deal with quite a few restarts there as the race leader. And certainly seemed like maybe the inside wasn't necessarily the place to be. The high line could get kind of formed up in a line and really get the run. Was it just a matter of not having the grip coming out of the corner on the inside, or was it really down to the draft, do you think?
Not so much the draft, only on the straightaways, but in the turns, the outside, it had better momentum. So that's when I realized when it was when the cautions came out and I was going to be in first place, as long as I stayed first place with regards to pit stops, that I was going to be at a disadvantage. But still, I tried my best to maintain my position the best I could, and it just at the end, Adam had the huge momentum coming out of turn 2, and the rest is history. Absolutely. Well, you mentioned not quite the finishes you wanted in the first 2 rounds of the next gen section. You hoping to turn that around at Daytona? Yes, sir. Hopefully, hopefully it's not as chaotic as iRacing Super Speedway and Talladega was. But I'm very looking forward to Daytona, and hopefully to turn the rest of the season around and finish good with the championship. Fantastic, Bobby. Well, you ran a tremendous race, and we certainly look forward to seeing you at Daytona. Hopefully you can keep the momentum going. Congratulations once again on your second place, and we'll see you next time, Bobby Ross. Thank you, and you guys are fantastic with the commentary. You guys keep up the good job.
Good to hear from Bobby Ross. P2 finish, here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We'll transition over. P3 finisher Jimmy Howitt joining us here in the booth. And Jimmy, first podium of the season for you. How does this feel for you and the entire 37 team?
Feels pretty good. It was nice running from 6th. I dropped back in the beginning, but it was nice to get back up into 3rd.
Bit of struggles at the beginning portion of the year for you. A bit of struggles through the dirt oval. A couple good finishes here and there, but still looking for a bit of consistency. Does this podium kind of give you the confidence and kind of give you the momentum to have consistent finishes for the remainder of the calendar? Because we still have 5 rounds left, one of them being asphalt oval and the rest being on dirt road.
Yeah, it was funny. I got no penalty points, but it was nice to finish a race with a clean car for once.
Well, hopefully going into Daytona in 1 week's time, you feeling a little bit more confident now, and can you walk away with another clean car and maybe another podium, maybe a second place or a win?
Yeah, it all depends on the qualifying and my draft partners, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, thank you very much for joining us here in the commentary booth, Jimmy. Congratulations on your 3rd place. Anybody else you would like to give a shout out to?
No, I'm good, man. Thank you, guys.
Good to hear from Jimmy Howitt. 3rd place finish here at Virtual Indianapolis. And Tyler, Daytona on the horizon. The World Center of Racing. I think this one's going to be quite intense as they go racing at I shouldn't say a restrictor plate track. I'll say a super speedway yet again.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be back here next week for that one. It's going to be, we've seen how the super speedways have gone for these guys. They're super fun and really seem to have a handle on these cars. I'm looking forward to it for sure.
We hope you'll join us in 1 week's time, same place here on Apex Racing TV. Make sure you hit subscribe and click the notification bell as well to get notified every time we go live for another broadcast here on Apex Racing TV. Once again, race control was provided by 24/7 Race Control, and this race was presented by the Chrohns and Colitis Foundation. For Marco Barbonera, Tyler Newitt, my name is Joshua Lee. Thank you for tuning into live coverage of the Cross Series League Racing season from the virtual Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We'll see you in 1 week's time as the campaign continues from Daytona.